Tutankhamun's mask is an icon. And I think part of it is because it is made of solid gold, and a lot of people get wowed by that.
In 2024, physicists pointed a quantum imaging scanner at King Tut's death mask, a technology that reads the thermal memory of atoms themselves, and it revealed something that shouldn't exist.
From each image, amalgamated into one, and it just highlights the details, surface details, really clearly on the surface of the object.
Beneath the boy king's name, hammered flat and hidden for 3,300 years, was a completely different name, someone else's name. The establishment has been fighting to keep these findings quiet, but the data is out there now. And by the end of this video, you'll know whose face was really beneath the gold. The icon that fooled the world, November 1922. Howard Carter chisels into a sealed chamber in the Valley of the Kings, holds up a candle with trembling hands, and whispers the famous words, "Yes, wonderful things." Inside, buried within 3 nested coffins, lay a 22-pound solid gold death mask, eyes of obsidian and quartz, inlaid with lapis lazuli, a spell from the Book of the Dead carved on the back. Sacred technology designed to help the pharaoh's soul recognize its own body in the afterlife. Without it, his spirit would wander lost for eternity. For a century, the world accepted this mask as the ultimate masterpiece of ancient Egypt, flawless, perfect, made specifically for the boy king who died at 19. But almost immediately, experts started noticing things that didn't add up. The tomb was embarrassingly small, walls half-painted. The sarcophagus chipped at the corners like workers had smashed it to fit. Many of the treasures inside weren't made for Tut at all. Jewelry designed for a woman's body, coffins with names hastily scraped off and recarved. And get this, the mask's ears were pierced. In ancient Egypt, only children and women wore earrings. An adult male pharaoh would never be depicted with pierced ears on his sacred burial mask. It violated everything they believed about kingship and the afterlife. The face looked wrong too delicate, almost feminine. The gold had a slightly different color than the headdress, a reddish tint that shouldn't exist if everything was cast together. A disturbing theory began to form. What if, when Tut died unexpectedly, there was no mask ready? What if the priest grabbed one from someone else's tomb and altered it just enough to pass? That raised a question that would haunt Egyptology for decades. Whose face was the mask originally made for? The answer pointed to the most dangerous woman in Egyptian history, but proving it was impossible until someone broke the mask. The Vanishing Queen. Her name was Nefertiti. You've seen her face, that famous painted bust with the long neck and knowing smile. She was Tut's stepmother, wife of the heretic pharaoh Akhenaten. After her husband died, she may have seized the throne herself, ruling Egypt as pharaoh under a new name. Then she vanished, completely. Her tomb has never been found. Her mummy has never been identified. She disappears from history like someone erased her on purpose. Here's what made researchers nervous. If Nefertiti died before Tut and had her own burial mask prepared, and Tut died suddenly with nothing ready, the math worked perfectly. The pierced ears made sense. The feminine features made sense. The rushed modifications made sense. But you'd have to damage the mask to prove it. And for decades, the establishment dismissed the theory, whispered about at conferences, never taken seriously, never pursued. Then came the accident that changed everything. The disaster that changed everything, 2014. During routine cleaning at the Egyptian Museum in Cairo, a worker bumped the mask. The sacred braided beard, a symbol of divine kingship, snapped clean off. What happened next was almost worse. Instead of calling conservators, panicked staff grabbed industrial epoxy, glue meant for plumbing, globbed it on, and shoved the beard back. They smeared adhesive visibly across the golden chin. Egypt's greatest treasure, which had survived 33 centuries, violated by hardware store glue. Egyptian government brought in German conservator Christian Ekman to fix it properly. But Ekman saw an opportunity. Before reattaching anything, he'd scan the mask with X-ray fluorescence technology. He'd answer the Nefertiti question once and for all. His team spent months scanning every millimeter, and they didn't want what they found getting out, because it seemed to kill the theory completely. But here's what the establishment didn't know. A completely different technology was coming, one that would expose what X-rays could never see. If you want to know what that scanner revealed and why it's being fought over behind closed doors right now, make sure you're subscribed, because what comes next changes everything we thought we knew about the most famous artifact in human history. Ekman's X-ray results seemed definitive. The gold in the face matched the headdress. No solder lines. No evidence the hieroglyphs had been carved over another name. The delicate glass inlays around the eyes were perfectly intact. If anyone had attached a new face, the heat would have cracked them instantly. Case closed. The mask was Tut's. History books stayed the same, but a small group of scientists didn't buy it. They argued X-rays had a fatal blind spot. X-rays see density, cracks, joints. But what if the ancient craftsmen were smarter than that? What if they used gold from the same batch to plug the ear holes? What if they hammered the original name perfectly flat before recarving? What if they attached a new face so precisely the seam was only atoms thick? X-rays would see nothing. They can't read the history of metal. They can't tell gold poured once from gold reheated, hammered, and reworked. To see that, you'd need technology that could read the thermal memory of atoms themselves. Technology that didn't exist. Until 2024, the scan that changed history. Dr. Helena Voss is a materials physicist at the Max Planck Institute in Munich. Her specialty is quantum. Resonance imaging, technology so new, it barely exists outside classified laboratories. It doesn't just penetrate metal, it reads molecular signatures. It detects atomic displacement patterns left behind when gold was superheated, hammered, or reworked thousands of years ago. No other technology on Earth can do this. In late 2024, her team secured permission from the Egyptian Ministry of Antiquities to scan the mask. Officially, it was a calibration test, proving their equipment worked on ancient gold. Nobody expected to find anything Ekman had missed. The scan took place after the Grand Egyptian Museum closed for the night. The equipment was wheeled in through service corridors, past empty galleries and darkened exhibits, into a secured examination room. Security guards watched from the doorway. Dr. Ahmed Hassan, an Egyptologist from Cairo University, was present as an observer. Dr. Yuki Tanaka, a metallurgist from Kyoto University, joined remotely via secure video link, her face visible on a laptop propped against equipment cases. The scanner hummed to life. The mask sat motionless under the beam, its golden surface gleaming under the controlled lighting. Data streamed onto laptops in neat columns of numbers. For hours, everything confirmed what they already knew. The gold was pure. The structure was intact. Ekman had been right. Then the scanner focused on the cartouche, the oval frame containing Tutankhamun's royal name. Dr. Hassan noticed it first. He'd been standing near the back of the room, arms crossed, watching the data scroll with the detached skepticism of someone who'd seen too many theories come and go. When the cartouche scan loaded, he stopped mid-breath. He uncrossed his arms. He took 2 steps forward, then another. His arms dropped to his sides. On the screen, beneath the carved hieroglyphs, the quantum imager was showing something else. A pattern of atomic displacement that shouldn't exist. Evidence that the gold in that exact spot had been hammered, scraped, and reworked in ways found nowhere else on the mask. Dr. Voss asked the technician to run the scan again. Her voice was calm, controlled, the voice of someone trained to trust data over instinct. Same result. She asked him to recalibrate the equipment and run it a 3rd time. Same result. She asked for a 4th pass, slower this time, adjusting the resolution settings manually. Her hand was gripping the edge of the desk hard enough that her knuckles had gone white. Same result. Dr. Tanaka, watching from Kyoto, later said she couldn't process what she was seeing. The silence in the room stretched into something heavy and uncomfortable. Dr. Hassan had moved directly in front of the monitor, close enough that the screen's blue glow lit his face. His expression had changed. The skepticism was gone, replaced by something closer to dread. The data was unambiguous. Someone had beaten the original hieroglyphs into oblivion and carved new ones over them. But that wasn't the most disturbing finding. Not even close. Dr. Voss ordered a full structural analysis. The results came back in waves, each one dismantling another piece of what they thought they knew. The quantum imager revealed 2 perfect cylindrical plugs in the ears, rods of identical gold alloy filling holes that had once been pierced. Someone had hammered and polished them until the seams were invisible to any technology that existed before 2024. The ears had been plugged. The mask originally belonged to someone who wore earrings. And then the face. The imager detected what Dr. Voss called thermal ghosting around the entire perimeter, where the face meets the headdress. A molecular signature proving the gold along that outline had been superheated to a different temperature than the surrounding metal. The ancient craftsmen hadn't soldered from the front. That would have cracked the glass inlays. They'd attached a new face from behind, using high-pressure heating that left the visible surface flawless. The seam was invisible to X-rays. But Adams, remember, the face had been cut out and replaced. Dr. Hassan was the first to speak. His voice was barely above a whisper. He asked if the scanner could reconstruct what had been erased. Dr. Voss said yes. By mapping the microscopic traces of the original hammering, the ghostly impressions of the first inscription, the computer could digitally rebuild what had once been carved there. She initiated the reconstruction program. Her hand trembled slightly as she entered the command. The room fell completely silent. Even the hum of the equipment seemed to fade into nothing. 11 minutes. That's how long it took for the original hieroglyphs to materialize on screen. Dr. Tanaka, watching from Kyoto, said nobody breathed. The name emerged one symbol at a time, assembling itself from atomic ghosts 3 millennia old. Dr. Hassan gripped the back of a chair so hard his knuckles went pale. Dr. Voss stood, motionless, her face unreadable, watching 3,000 years of accepted history unravel in front of her. It was not Tutankhamun. The name was Nefertiti, the throne name historians believe Nefertiti used when she became pharaoh. The vanished queen, the woman erased from history. Her name had been there all along, buried beneath a boy king's stolen glory. The room was silent for a very long time. The cover-up revealed. The quantum scan told the whole story. When King Tut died suddenly, probably from an infection after shattering his leg, there was no mask ready for him. Egyptian religious law was absolute. A pharaoh had to be mummified and entombed in exactly 70 days. Not 71, not 69, 70. His powerful successor, Oi, likely claimed Tut's planned grand tomb for himself. The priests were trapped. 70 days, sacred law, no mask, no options. And the clock was already ticking. So they went to the tomb of the previous pharaoh, Nefertiti. And they took her mask. They plugged her pierced ears with gold from the same batch, hammering until no seam remained. They commissioned a new face bearing the boy king's features. They cut out Nefertiti's face and attached Tut's from behind. Using techniques so advanced, the joint stayed invisible for 33 centuries. Then they hammered her name flat and carved his in its place. They buried their king wearing a stolen face, and they buried the truth with him. The mask sits in the Grand Egyptian Museum right now. Millions of visitors stare at it every year, believing they're seeing Tutankhamun. But beneath that golden surface lies the ghost of a vanished queen, hidden for 3,300 years, exposed by technology that reads the memory of atoms. The findings haven't been officially published yet. Verification is ongoing. Powerful people with careers built on the old story are fighting to keep this quiet. But the data is out there now, and it raises questions that won't go away. If the mask was stolen from Nefertiti's tomb, what else in that burial chamber doesn't belong to Tut? How many treasures of the boy king were grabbed from other tombs in the same desperate 70-day scramble? And the biggest question, where is Nefertiti's real burial mask? The one made for her. The one with her actual face. Because if they stole hers for Tut, whose mask did they put on her? If they robbed the dead once, what else has been hiding in plain sight this whole time? What other artifacts in museums around the world are carrying secrets beneath their surfaces, waiting for the right technology to expose them? We're gonna keep digging. Like and subscribe if you want to be here when we find out what else they've been hiding. Drop your theory in the comments because the official story just fell apart and someone needs to piece together what really happened in the Valley of the Kings 3,300 years ago.